look at the slide. Tēnā tātou katoa, nao mai, haere mai. Koutou kai, tēnā hui o te Puari, Ahapuri, o Kāwhia. Greetings to you all and welcome to today's Kāwhia Community Board meeting. It's 4 o'clock and I declare the meeting open. We could have an opening karakia, please, from Board Member Fury.
O tēnā tātou katoa, te tuatahi mihi atu kia koe te tiamana o te Puari, o tērā kia tātou katoa, e pāwā paramai ki te hui nei pāna ki te hapori o Kāwhia. I mua tō tātou hui, ka inu tātou. Pau i iri, pau rarama, pau o te whakaro, pau o te tangata, pau o te aroha, te pau i heria nei a tātou, mauri tū, mauri ora, haumi e hui e, tai ki e. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.
Apologies. I have apologies from Board Member Walsh. Are there any other apologies? No. Right. I'll move that his apologies be accepted.
Second that.
Thank you. All those in favour? Thanks. Thank you. Public forum. We have no one here for the public forum. Has asked for a public forum appearance. Late items. There are no late items being asked to be put in, so no late items. Declaration of interest. Has anyone got a declaration of interest on the 2 reports that are coming through? No. And confirmation of the minutes from our last Kāwhia Community Board meeting on March the 7th. Can we just have them confirmed? You've all read them. And
there's an issue here on page 7. Board member Harper, the board and discussions about the same thinking the Walsh.
Okay.
There were some minor typos being described.
Yeah. Well,
Mr. Walsh,
I'll now move. I've moved some up. Someone moved that. It's a true and correct record. Yeah. All those in favour? Sorry, seconder. Hang on.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favour? Against, carry. Any matters arising from those minutes? Apart from typos. Any matters arising from the minutes apart from typos? No. You're all good.
I just wanted to for you, Mr. Chair, how you going with we've had a meeting. We've decided where the water board sign is just there. It's not a ideal spot. Okay. There's a drain in front of it. Mrs. Ross has said there is no immediate hurry for it. It's progressing. Mrs. Ross has spoken to the 2 shop owners, as I'm led to believe. We popped in and saw the doctors because we thought we might move it around a little bit. But on a rethinking of that, that's probably not a good place to. So Mrs. Ross and I will get together and have another little chat. But it is progress, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And my apologies. I'd just like to welcome the members of the public that are here today too, officially. So thank you very much for your attendance.
Through you, Mr. Chair. In the last week, we had spoken about the signs out the way. I'm just seeing if it was in the.
Yes, there was. It isn't.
It isn't. Yeah, okay.
And you've got to. There's another.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that board project.
Okay.
Under the board project. Okay. Decision reports. There are no reports. Information only reports. We've got item 24, which are civil defence and emergency management for Kāwhia Community Response Plan, which will be presented by Tony. Okay. And Kathy, sorry.
So big plan here to provide a new reporting. The purpose is to set up training areas in the that guides the community responsible and we've got how we
Kathy? Or will you proceed with your? Yep.
Funding. There's separate buildings where displaced people could go if they needed to and be looked after while whatever is going on downtown goes on. And then we look after what we identified some places that we call like community-led centres, which are like the Marais and stuff like that, who would stand up and look after people if they needed to, and look after themselves without any input from anybody from civil defence. So they're perfectly able to be self-contained, and anybody can open up their own house and become a community looking after a community piece. You could open up your garage and be considered a community-led centre. There's a whole group of you around that you can do that, and that's perfectly fine. And so that's what we've done. And for Kāwhia, the community response team champion is Cal Stewart at the fire service. And what's a theme throughout New Zealand for these community response plans is that somebody like the fire chief, the police officer, or that sort of thing, are the community leader for that, because they often know everybody in the community or know what's happening or are usually involved in the response. And so they know the community really well. For example, in Mokau, we've got the community patrol, the police officer who's the community champion down there, because he knows everything around there that's going on. So that's how we sort of formulate that, and we work this through. We work through some people who we think that would be key people to have within the plan, and we have some confidentiality around numbers and people and things like that. So those sort of things never get circulated, because when there's an event going on and we're in response, it's really good for these people to be able to provide us intelligence back in the EOC, whether it's at Otahonga, Waitama, or or Waipa, or even in at the Deakin at Hamilton. And so that we can get real live and up-to-date, accurate information from people whose information can be verified and trusted. So what this isn't, it is not a plan that says, this is what you do, this is how you do it. It's a plan that says, these are the people that we will be looking to for leadership if there's something going on in Kāwhia or Aotea, because there's Kāwhia have included some of Aotea's information in their plan, and Aotea are going through, we're just going to catch up in a week or two because it's moved away from the residents and ratepayers more to the response team round at Kāwhia. So we're having a get together with the new chairman of the Kāwhia response team. And so it's an intelligence gathering thing. But like in the recent storms, it was really good because we were actually able to get photos of what was going on, road closures, real good information to actually help us build the plan around, or build the scenario and what was actually happening out here when we were I was in Hamilton, and enable the council to look at what they need to do in the work plan to actually get things done. And in response to this plan sits in amongst what Andrew might be able to talk about is a bit more, is what we have a whole Oklahoma operational plan. And so this little plan for Kāwhia and one for Aotea and all the others that we've got sit in amongst an operational plan for what council and civil defence would do if we had to activate. Isn't that correct, Andrew? And that's about this big, that plan, with links to everywhere. And that's just about how giving us a way of not telling us exactly, look, you don't want to actually put in concrete or on paper, do this at point A, B, C, D, because things are fluid, and I don't know of any emergency that's the same. Every storm's different, every earthquake's different. So it just gives us some things. Have you thought about this? What would you do about that? Who are the key people for these? How would you work with that? And it's a tool to help us get through in a response, really. Is that all you think?
Yeah, and Kathy touched on the community response team on page 14. That set out a little bit. One of the key things that has come out of, I know from Gabriel, and there's another report that's pending for the Auckland anniversary event, is the field intel. And so if we set an emergency operations centre up at Aotearoa, it takes us time to get a really good picture of what's happening on the ground. But part of the value of the community response team is people on the ground who are the eyes and ears. And if they can feed that intelligence back to the emergency operations centre, make it so much easier to coordinate what the needs are, what the resources might be. And if it's a regional event, then we can coordinate that back with the group. So that's the value of the community response team, is actually eyes and ears on the ground to feed that intel back.
And feeding into that too, Tony, I should have mentioned in the readiness and in the things leading up, or even in what we call peacetime, anything that comes out that relates, that could affect Kāwhia, we contact the response team. I contact Callan and Warren, and just say, hey guys, this is something might be happening out here. Here's a weather warning, and I know I've sent them to you, and you guys can then send them to your community. You can assess them yourselves, because you know your community and you know what winds coming from what way will do, and you know what waves doing something else will do, and so you know your community best. So when something's building up, it's a really good way to be able to feed you guys intelligence. And I know when we had the storm surge and the high tides, I think you were involved, Kitten. So we're actually able to get intelligence out here, and Cal and Marianne down at Mokau were able to actually sit in onto our flood room live and our postal alerts, and actually get the up-to-date information from the Meteorological Society, from the Coast Guards, from everything, and ask the questions, because I don't know what questions to ask. And so I was able to bring them into that meeting. So Cal was actually able to then get prepared. So not at 11:30 at night, wondering what's going to happen. He had his team out there They got sandbags made out of rubbish sacks and put out at the museum and all that sort of stuff. Without having that intelligence, it would have become a mess, and they would have been having to fix things up rather than get prepared. So it's building that trust and that sort of two-way communication in an event and before an event and after an event that actually helps these things work best. They're no good if you just write them and put them on the shelf. So Carol and I, we go through them every 6 months. We'll have a coffee and a chat, pipe clip, and say, you know, does something need to change? You know, is everything okay? Has it, you know, has anything changed? The new owners at the garage, who are they? You know, what's happening with this? And so that we always know where we might be able to get that information from, or equipment if we need it, who we might need to contact. So, yeah. So that's that, I think. Yep. The community response group at the moment, we've got groups called, well, we've got Cal, who's of course the fire station. We've got the policeman, and this time at the moment it's Craig, because Jono's still away. We've got a welfare person, which is Leanne, who's the principal of the school. We've got Dr. John. We've got Linda from the St. John's as part of it, and then we had Dave Forsyth and Warren Adams from Dave Forsyth and Warren Adams over at Kāwhia. And I think these two are still right, but as I said, I haven't. There's Karen Keir from Hauturu, the principal at Hauturu School, and Okapu Marae was Talina Mahara at the moment, is sort of the ones that we work on. We're actually in the middle of, just in the middle of working with Kathy Holland around the Waipapa Marae. And I'm not sure whether anyone's told you or not, but last year there was a project that was run from the DIA's office around recovery and getting some alternative solar panels and things upgrading for projects around the Waikato. And it was come through the recovery office, through the funding through them. And we put forward Waipapa Marae and a couple of others around the place. And Waikato had 11 shortlisted. And out of that, there were 6 who got funded, and Waipapa Marae was one of those. So they'll get a whole raft of solar panels, all of the batteries and wiring and everything else that goes in, the storage and everything like that. So yeah, they're just given, all the contracts have been sent out to the Marae's ready for them to fill in and get their quotes back and work with the contractors. So that was exciting. Yeah. Well, it's up to you guys, really. It's if you think it's probably time. I mean, it was what, 5 years ago now since we had the one at the school. And one of the things of talking to Warren about on the 13th is out at Aotea, looking at socialising their plan with their community again, but also incorporating it with having a look at their what they call it, their civil defence shed. What do you call it there? The shed out there at Aotea, which got the AED and all of that in it. Yeah, Darcy's shed, yeah. And looking at whether we have a open day, because even Aotea people say, oh, we didn't even know he had an AED. You walk around the village and there's a big sign that says AED pointed this way. And they, oh, we didn't even know we had one, you know. So we thought it might be quite a good idea to sort of go through, update the plan with the new response team members, and maybe have like an open day at Darcy Shed and do a demonstration on the AED and a bit of a barbecue. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, not Darcy Shed. We just know it's Darcy Shed, yeah. And just socialise it a bit. And so there's no harm in doing that. I think we had about 45, 50 people lined up at the school that day. I think we went through 5 bags of sausages. Lunch. It was good. But it was quite good though, wasn't it? I remember and they had all those bits of paper about, you know, what would you do if there's a lady that's 8 months pregnant and having a miscarriage or having a baby, and somebody was doing so, and everyone started laughing, oh, they happened, you know, and so again it just cements that it's what you would do as a community anyway. It's just giving us that intelligence and giving you, I think some safeguard that somebody is thinking about you guys somewhere out there, even if we can't get over here. You know, just I would hope that gives you a bit of comfort. Mm-hmm. No, and there was some talk around whether that could be funded through the community board, but then because it's a Ministry of Education building, we had to go through their situation. And last I heard, Leanne was talking to them, and I thought they were putting a plug into the room, but not a generator. So I'll check that with Leanne and double check, because one of the things that is quite good now with, as I say, Waipapa's come up to code of compliance again. It's also another good place if it's not a flood, that we could actually take that pressure off them. And same with here, but then I don't think there's a generator plug here or a generator, is there?
Not sure.
No. And but we know now that Waipapa will be set up. You know, it's getting $110,000 worth of upgrade for solar and for generator capability. So yeah, so it's small steps, but and some of the things that have been really good with having these, not necessarily here, but we were actually able to help out at Maricopa get a generator for the community hall through the Lions Company, just by the fact that we were engaging with them and they were engaging with us, and we had a plan, and so that they're happy to help and do those projects if they know that they've got these sort of things and can put them behind any, you know, community funding applications and things like that. It just adds weight to them. We can't give anybody any money because we don't have any in peacetime, but we can when it's an emergency. It opens the door to be able to reimburse the welfare things. And what we've heard, this is probably going a little bit off track, our feedback around other emergencies and responses throughout the country is that some marae and community groups have been waiting up to 6 or 7 months to get reimbursed for the cost of the welfare response that they did in their community, and that's not acceptable to us, or to me, or to Otahuanga or Waipa or to Waipatanga District Council. So part of being able to do this is to get people into the system now, so that if we needed to hire because we'd have to pay for it, we needed to hire the marae or the school, that we've got them in the system so we can raise a purchase order so that they're not out of pocket. So a little bit like what we did in COVID, where the council or the EOC became the banker. And so, you know, like we funded the entire, you know, food bank from Makatu, along with some other donations that they got from Tainui and things. But they just would, the system worked really good. They would send in their shopping list, I suppose you'd call it, to our logistics team. They would raise a purchase order, place the order at Pack and Save, and then Pack and Save would deliver it. So then the marae went out of pocket. We knew we had the receipts. We knew that we could fill in all of the spreadsheets that local government and civil defence requires to get any reimbursement back. And we didn't lose $1, and nobody was out of pocket or didn't have to fund anything and then wait for reimbursement. And that's a system I think we'd like to do in any, and Andrew as controller, that worked really well, didn't it? And that's, you know, like having us place the purchase orders and nobody being out of pocket. And it's a system that it actually works and gives, again, that assurance that nobody has to front up. Because there are people who thought that if you're down as a civil defence centre as a marae, that you need to always have $5,000 worth of food at your marae, always. And that's not sustainable for anybody. So that's why what I'm trying to do through, and with my other project around the marae preparedness, is any of the maraes who have indicated that they wanted to be a full civil defence centre, we're going to try and make sure that they are already in every system, whichever council they belong to, so that they don't have to wait, and that they understand the process, so that they don't have to feel that they need to front up with money in advance.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. That's very good. Do you see when you guys that with that strictly something that strictly was the areas of something the data to that GSO, that's the one that well, so there was a fund that was available for the basis of individual districts. It was all yeah, so it was the which council meeting of course involved in the vote. That means that we will be able to assess that money with other places. It's money made available to provide groups or individuals with small loans and the right
And because that also follows on to, isn't it, Andrew, from feedback that others have got, that it was the local government and civil defence systems are clunky, and so this was a way of making it easier, because you adopt it early. You don't have to have a council meeting to decide to be able to use the mayoral relief fund, because that's what you had to do before. But so by doing it now and having these pre-approvals, it becomes that as a discretion for each and every council to look at whether they activate it or not. It hasn't got it installed yet. It's got, yeah.
Another question is that the community hall down with a fence.
No, because when we first, yeah.
Welcomes a whole series of stairs to the upper. I'm just wondering if you could explain that.
Because when we did the community centre, it actually, for some reason, it wasn't compliant. It had some issues with. It was recommended not to put it down as a point of as a point of I'm not sure. I can't remember, but There's civil defence centre in what you know, I think sometimes is done. It's like a civil defence centre radio sits on the floor and that. Why we need to know, sometimes it's just because we might need the, not know, so, but because we might need some of that and more any contact, or might be that the emergency is more. Try and get and then onto the new situation as what we're trying to do. Yes, yes. But it's. The other thing that you want to see, they're slowly into phase out the cost a little bit. And they just starting to socialize some funds around it. And so we have to look at everything is good, but it's actually they're not getting funding for them, and so they can't fund it. And so it will fall into the next year, something like that. You'll see some
our polling station, which is primary line of my football. Yes. 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 The primary line used to be radio tiny, but it's now primary line 95.4 FM. That's how I know we have a radio show here called Get Back Happy.
It's comforting to know that it's all these new information out there. Pull off what you happened and explain it and
yeah, and I've just read through the report from today, and you know, part of the things that let them down a little bit were they didn't have some of these connections, and so that's the invaluableness of actually happens because they didn't have any institutional awareness about their vulnerable communities.
The two notable trees to the floor, it's sort of the on the side.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
No, no.
Connect the driver at 25N Go to the Bluetooth menu on your smartphone and select it from the list. Smartphone connected.
Item 25, proposed road naming and numbering policy. Presented by Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to take the report as read. This is a information only report. So, statements of consultation to go, so very decision from the board. I think the main thing for the board procedure right now in the South End, but the thing that doesn't happen, does happen is the policy is recommending that the boards will give them the authority office. Agree with that. No, I mean, Richard and I just both. It may come up with a few unnamed private roads. I do work with one, so no, it's either. But it's on the move to the road. The wheels and need to add to the roads. Existing roads, because this is something here that's just going on budget through there, or no, I think it's here and near that will be. I suppose it's now it will be put that down as road name or just a correction. So section that rename change road names. So we have encourage the sorry, consider consider this for a reason for change. The reasons for it for the Australian state. On top of that, here, for some so, if I can give you an example from the past, before my time, there was a massive rationalisation of road names, rural road names, and one of the goals of that little exercise was to remove the possessive of the names, like Sandy Road, Sandy. So I think we go to the part of that sort of exercise. So. Recently, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, very common ones. So it would be like, so it was spirit, they want to kind of share something, they come up with this and then just handle it against the master. Yeah, I think that probably I would think, I'd like to think that it would be a bit more advanced and that you would have done well, because it's still a new consultation, it's still and so community would be that you would see listed items and circulate that are able to feedback. So this part of the well on this the meeting stuff. Yeah. That's good. Just that's what we want. Right. Yeah. And yeah, more like I say, we've got issues around and follow up and populations. Thanks. Yeah, we've seen it. Thank you. Wasn't fire. Wasn't carry. We're good.
The board, have this board update. So the thing, just made contact this afternoon, and the update is that he's still seeking permission for using some of the for some images in the narrative. So that's where we're at the moment for some of the images. So it's where we're at the moment. And also, looking sort of into the funding application that's there. I just need to find time to actually, whatever.
One which if one will be that you was out just on walls and locations. So let's check.
The two units that she, for the locations, I will work on that and get, with Adrian for that. This is what it's going on.
So how many signs will we do?
I think there was about 7 total
That's over an area of what?
from Kāwhia, we'll look at the Whāro, right down to probably the Kāwhia, but I haven't got the exact places. But I'll bring that along to the next week, but I'll also send it through to Andrew. Yeah.
So the good idea.
No, no, because that will be Martin Dewey to for Martin Dewey to do the narrative. So we're doing our own. Yes. Yeah, but I thought if we start here too, we start and then it'd be a plan. The next project, the next stage, I think, this is a big stage that we're looking at the moment. So once we've got this, and then we'll go and approach, which is great. Yeah.
And will we, storyboards going to have that type of?
No, but this is something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we get on the board out here?
So the story, the narrative boards have a different, that's what we're working through at the moment. So we've got the images, but we're at a stage now, we just need to get permission, and once we get permission, then we can bring the lot like this, for everyone to look at. But we can't do that until we get the permission.
Just want to make a point, that reason I raised, because the printing, one of the term, seems to be fading, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just, you don't want something like that, you want something to have some durability, and stand out. But that's my own concern,
Yeah, one taken out, definitely. It's a four, the storyboard.
How this one?
Sorry. We haven't, it's in discussion this week in progress at the moment. I do work with a company in Hamilton. There is a supplier through the council. So if we go there, then they do everything. So this group, company did the photo frame outside as well. So I think it's good going to the same place and you get the same from the
Yes, sorry.
yes.
and my point about thinking that, of course, because if we go ahead and these are erected, and the distance capital will going to be good enough for the maintenance or whatever else, perhaps, I think it's a longer one. So we want to make sure that the maintenance, I would like to make sure that there was maintenance free as possible. And have a longevity of life, so that we're not coming back to maintenance and some extra reading and getting to a full time.
Yeah.
Those are my concerns.
Yeah.
Very important project.
Through you, Mr. Chair, between Andrew and myself, we have been visiting towns with the storyboard and looking at the material and the look that they have. So we're learning on what fades and what doesn't fade. So we're taking that all into account.
Some of those questions, so they will
More food scripts.
be writing,
Yeah.
see, lot of the
Yeah.
Sure, we'll work out, right?
Yeah. Did you take it from? Did you take it from?
No, so the TV program.
Oh, yeah, so there's choices out there, but I think, before we get to that stage, is just getting what's going on them, and then we can look at that. But we have started, looking around at different towns.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay, through the chair, I handed out, just a draft. This is all the draft. So at our last we spoke about the sign as you're coming up to the Oklahoma 2 North, that it needs to be, renewed. So, I've gone away and just with some ideas and, just looking at the look as you come into Kāwhia, like you're on the main road coming here, and looking at the branding that we're looking, so we're not looking like a jigsaw, we're all looking as one. So this is just, an idea that I had about using the frame design outside, and as you can see, there's two, I asked the designer, just to put the icons down below, and this is what's on there at present, is the icons are down the side of the sign, it's on the road, and it's just got Kāwhia, 47 kilometres, which, that's all what's on the sign. So I thought, oh well, we can switch that because it can't be too busy, especially, when you're driving, it just needs to say Kāwhia, 47, I think that's correct. The number of kilometres.
Yeah. It'll be on the site, it's not.
So there's probably something to look at. Yeah, it's something to look. And, yeah, so it's just bringing this, we can still play around with it, but I thought it would be just a starting place for us to look at.
Yeah, I like see them more clearly than I think.
Yeah.
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 And the only other thing I would say, just from the end chat for this, I'm just wondering, because those signs can be some distance away from the road, I'm just wondering whether that frame is actually going to, whether the frame could be,
Like you can see that, like the design.
yeah, like you lose
Yeah.
the sign too far away.
Yeah.
So maybe it's
Yeah,
It's more even, yeah.
because the design that I've got there now is quite old forward. It's like quite a big forward design on the sign that's there at present. So, but the thing is that I can go away and have another, tutu around with it and come up with something else, but it's just, to give us an idea. I just thought it was great because, you know, you come in here, there's the photo frame here, just Marion and all them. The picture in the middle, we can change that, that's just to give us an idea. I looked at, I thought, because we seem to be using the museum quite a bit, but the thing is, you don't want to be too busy in here. But there's choices, we can put a photo here, we can put a painted, well, these are just.
Yeah.
There's, Korea, hot balls.
It's because you lose the that photo background, you lose it, and you go past, it doesn't sort of jump out at you.
I have the same issues, but it's very important, it was about longevity, about standing out. It's not that we faded. I can remember something, quite some time ago. And, of course, we were talking about concert band, they make something, gardens and whatever. But if we're just gonna go ahead with the sign, all I want, or something that stands out, more than just a direction 47 takes, and something that's in the be durable. That's what I mean, that's sort of.
This is the, I took.
Yeah.
I took
It's very right.
So that's what we've got present. And it's like Andrew said, it's been there for 20 years.
Oh,
So it's
very well,
yeah. So and then on here, they've got this border design here, and they've got the side icons. But it's got here, historic, creative, alive. I'm not too sure, you know, people, and then 42 kilometers. But yeah, I can go away and get another tutu around with design and bring it back.
This is a good sign.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're using for
I'm just thinking, the landscape is quite big, but it won't take, like, if you've got an object in there, it can take it away from what we're trying to say. But the thing is, I can, and then we go to commission and all, you know, but I can do a mock up there.
And you'll finish the running activities.
Yeah.
And your preference to use for this and not this?
Oh, I don't, I like, it's up to us, really. I'm just kind of like putting colour in there and putting them on the slide, and we can come up as a different group on what we like. Yeah, so all I'm doing, which is putting ideas down, and then we do it, discuss as a people.
That looks more attractive to me than that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like the colour, yeah?
But
There's so many of, so many different ideas that we can put down, I think. And, but it's a starting point.
Well, those guys that you do,
I don't know, yes,
yeah,
but
they'll have some ideas, some images, signs that impact, because you don't want them to drive past and have to always see the word, you don't get any other image.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you need something.
it's gonna hold out.
Person face.
So the people that did the photo frame is the same people who's doing that
Yeah.
the proofs. So I just tell them what I'm looking in my head and this is what come up. I say, oh, I think I'm looking like.
Thank you very much. Luke. And
So, just need to be good,
Oh, yeah, just to clarify, there will be two stops.
Yeah.
So there'll be north side and south. The far to the south is a group, side of the stop. Look, from Howard's bus. It would be on the north and the east.
So both the main owners. So we're making progress. Oh, no, that's pretty much my update. He was the chair and just then, in my last update, I mentioned about the work programs, the loaner here, and we had a good turnout with Kāwhia here in Kāwhia from Waipapa, right down to number 2, and also across my mother, they welcome you, and I know the council team, the Oklahoma council team actually number 2 on the 13th, which was great. And yeah, it's pretty much, but otherwise, there's just one other thing. My last one is, I know I had put this up before, I'm talking about NECON, on the colleagues here with the toilets, still got Kāwhia and Waitangi. If a NECON can go over the A and Waitangi, meaning more than one, at the moment it's got Waitangi, which means single, and over the NECON over the A and the Kāwhia, or Kāwhia. I can go, maybe long. Well, I thought I'd go to more channel. But let me know, I'm happy to help in this space. If, you can be done. Thank you.
Well, just quickly, partly go around chatting to the folks about CEO and they're asking questions, right, question responses. What has to happen is that the auditor received the decision to go out consultation. And so I believe it should go to the public consultations. I believe that it's pretty important to people in the past that somebody gets a strong views. But it would be good if we get to a what do you call it? Town hall meeting, community hall meeting. That's on that issue. It's not the issue. We are in a position to do that. Yes. My view. I was spoken in favor of the proposal, and I'm happy to do that if you help. We're on the shop there. So, yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
And I know David was raised, but he's concerned about the proper type consultation about, because we are having a public meeting about. Well,
What the one on the train?
yeah.
But one of them.
Yes, yeah.
Making one. Make it play.
Yeah,
What different? Different down here. Should make them be right with. I see. They'll allow that in not like. The what definition of community? Yes. Yeah. It's like that, all the uses. Yeah, so
just asking, so across the March, there was a workshop, the LTP and concert plans. 13th March, I think it's, ordinary period, as mentioned, there was a profile, just an all over from 10 o'clock, waiting to see what's down. That's, we've also been more than 10, and, council got a call on the ground, said that, some positive feedback. On the fact that the council was at the I found it really was that fascinating.
First Nation,
Excuse me.
First Nation.
Oh, yeah. Twentieth of March, we had also a career, followed by the ACC also. 26th of March, district council meeting, 31st of March was the ACC vote. And we were running issues discussed with that. And one of those issues that was raised was vehicle on bridges. So we're saying some discussion to do with that. Some sort of future. And on this morning, we had a special meeting with the council to approve the contact plan and consultation documents, public consultation, which is open now to the public as from tomorrow. So, and council actually produced some legal proposal report, which I'm happy to share with you all if you want. It's anyone asking about the long-term plan, you just give a card, so that work over. Yeah, so I thought I'll leave it there, you guys start off with. But I thought that was actually a very good discussion. So the reminder we had that day on the 25th this month, which is the weekday. And we've got the final session on the 20th of April. I've had to put an apology to Mr. Chairman, I want to get the team on. So, I hope that
information. I think we have two positions. Right. Convention can be written comprehensive, they also authority, sunset service, same day. And there'll be a sunset by 40. That's service stuff. And it's on formal service, and everyone got reviewing the, and we'll have see what it's on. Suiting you. Rights, street rights,
I've been reading correspondence.
was the step. Read your questions. That will be a robust discussion to the both communities.
Sorry, I can't make all the options too. I can't make, a lot of the meetings before my work decision. But I do keep up to date. What the emails are.
Yeah. And basically that's all from me. We've got a hard look at it. Really nice. You smile. Now that will make an important clear, of course.
Also,
Community board clear. We've got the June. So. So, nothing that's fine.
does it roll into the next? No.
But the application process for that tomorrow bonus is a little negotiating. So the resolution, the school Act 1 resolution sitting on the register, which is health, actual training, the drivers being there, the dive team have been there, assisting. That's all. That's all.
The assessment is completed, are we going to be in a position to say, look, what we need to pay X amount or?
Yeah.
And do we have average the means to enforce the amount that we're asking?
We do have, we probably.
Yeah, so, sorry. Yeah, go. So the basics of the measure then we show with justification to some size volumes, some of them come up. So they go down there and they say water sound, it's got like 40 years life, 30 years life, and then it's like that 10 years, at which stage it's going to cost X amount of dollars to replace and remove. We sometimes we start volume and not one what the reason and you should probably use methodology.
Truth I mean, if you have a day, like to be a road meeting with the vice student or the public, or the other four, that would be similar, or Maki, Andrew, Kyle. For the member of the board, it's enough for my full public civil defense. No later, is not happening. Can they have a mana or can mana or more tū te iwi, mōra te iwi, mana te iwi, no reira, tēnā tātou katoa.
And it was close enough at 12:15.